Good afternoon. Myself J Maiti, Professor of the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering, IIT Kharagpur. I am happy to introduce the subject named Design Analysis of Experiments, which is a very important subject for students and practitioners in the field of engineering project design, experimental analysis, data analysis, manufacturing, science and management. It is useful to engineers, scientists and analysts who wish to conduct experiments and analyze the experimental data for data driven decision making. The fundamental basis of this subject is statistics. The students require to have basic statistical knowledge, primarily descriptive statistics and the estimation and hypothesis, that is the inferential statistics point of view at the univariate level. The objective of this course is to impart students a holistic view of fundamental of experimental design, analysis tools and techniques, interpretation of the results, including application at different fields. Upon completion of this course, the student will know the fundamental of experiments and its uses, basic statistical thinking, including different techniques like analysis of variance, regression, experimental design such as complete randomized design, randomized complete block design, Latin square, factorial design, fractional factorial design and some other special kind of designs, including which is orthogonal design. Also, the student will know the applications of the statistical models using the experimental data, and finally, the optimization of the response surface, which can be a minimization or a maximization problem. Primarily, we will be using response surface methodology, and at the end some demonstration using softwares will be given to you. As the subject, the name of the subject, from the name of the subject you can infer that it is all of how to conduct the experiments given different given a particular system or a process, and understanding the behavior of the process in terms of response variables. And we all know that any process is composed of different type of variables. One is the input to the process, another one is the output to the process. The behavior of output is important, and this output or the output variable is probabilistic in nature, and the output not only depend on the inputs, but also the process variables, which are classified into two broad domains, that is controllable factors and uncontrollable factors. So, the student will know that how the controllable factors affect the output of the process or the system, which are basically termed as response variables. For example, if you talk about quality of a centrifugal casting process, where maybe you are making the wheel rim, and the strength of the wheel rim or hardness of the wheel rim could have been the quality variable, and then how the hardness will be affected by the casting process parameters. Here the controllable variables like speed, feed, temperature and other things. In addition, there will be some uncontrollable factors which cannot be controlled during the experiments, or which will be very expensive to control. So, it will not be controlled during experiment, but the effect of those variables are also there on the output variables. The variables which we cannot control or which we do not want to control because of primarily from the cost point of view, then they are known as uncontrollable factors. Sometimes we refer to them also noise. So, now holistically from this subject you will get some of the fundamentals in terms of thinking a system from process model point of view, that and characterizing the process, that means the behavior of the process in terms of the output variables which are known as response variable. Then understanding and quantifying the factors which are controllable and has effect on the output variable or response variable, and also knowing that where to set the control parameters, so that the output response variable values should be around the target, preferably at the target. Also at the same time the students will be knowing that how do we control the controllable parameters or the variables, so that the process variability in terms of output variable will be minimum. At the same time, suppose how to design an experiment and get the result out of it, through which you will design a product or a process or a system in such a manner that the system or the product or the process will work at the user's environment without having adverse effect of that environment. That means, the noise of that environment which are uncontrollable in nature, that will not affect the performance of the product or the process or the system, which is known as robust design. So, what I will try to give you in this subject, first the process concept, where any system can be thought in terms of process, and process will be having an output variable or a set of output variables which we will be defining as response variable. Then there will be set of controllable variables which the operator, for example, can control during the regular operation. There will be set of uncontrollable or noise variables which cannot be controlled. There will be also input variable or input to the process. Then the response variable, being a probabilistic in nature, it will be having probability distribution, and most likely probability distribution will be the normal distribution. Then based on this normality or normal distribution, the properties of the distribution will help us in understanding the behavior of the process. So, you will during experiment you will gather some amount of data, that desired data. So, the data analysis require basic statistics to be known. So, we will spend some time on basic statistics, primarily mean and standard deviation, and the different kind of statistical distributions like Z distribution, T distribution, chi-square distribution, F distribution, and hypothesis testing. And then after that, what will happen when you have more than two means to be compared, then you will know one technique called analysis of variance. Then in order to develop the response surface which will help us in optimizing the process, you require to know regression, and as I already told you, the different types of experimental designs, randomized complete block design, then that is what is RCBD, and complete randomized design CRD, the variants of RCBD such as Latin square, central composite design, many other design, full factorial, fractional factorial, 2 to the power k factorial, 2 to the power k minus k minus p factorials, all those experiments will be taught. And the analysis of data coming out of those experiments will also be given to you. I hope that this subject will create immense value to you. Based on my experience, I can tell you this is a subject which is required to be known by every engineer, by every scientist, by every analyst. This is a subject, it not only helps you during your day-to-day operation, including production if you are in the shop floor. If you are in the R&D section also, the offline design of a process or product, this is a subject which will help you. If you do analysis of data which may not be coming out of the traditional experiments, but the techniques what will be taught here are useful beyond the data, beyond the experimental data like observational data, other things. It is not that the experiment will be only in the hardcore or the laboratories. You can do experiment in the computer also using in the simulated environment. There also you can apply the DOE, design of analysis technique, the experimental procedure what you will be knowing here, that can be implemented there, and out of this then you will be getting some simulated data which also can be analyzed based on the techniques, tools and techniques that will be taught to you here. You require to know probability and statistics, particularly the probability distributions, and you require to know the statistics in terms of point and interval estimation, in terms of hypothesis testing. You require to know how to see the statistical table, how to infer the results based on statistical tests. Although I will be giving some preliminary ideas of the basic statistics part, but it is advisable if you read beforehand some of the basic statistics. So I will recommend book by Montgomery, Douglas C. Montgomery, that is the Design and Analysis of Experiments, OLE 2014, 8th edition. This is the book which I will be using all through. For basic statistics, I say that Montgomery, Hines and Ranger Introduction to Engineering Statistics book is there. Probably the title may be little different, but it is on engineering statistics. And you must purchase these books. These are not costly, but once you go through the video lectures, all the video lectures, and also every week if you prepare the tutorials, the assignment given to you, and also the exercises given in the book by Montgomery, and I am 100% sure that you will become one of the experts, particularly from DOE point of view. And when you apply this technique, this particular knowledge, subject knowledge, and you will really become expert. So, present day is the analytics day. Present day is data driven. There are many sensors put across industries, across different organizations to capture data. If you judiciously collect that sensor data using experimental design, and when you analyze, then you might be well equipped to do or to make better decisions, and that will give you quicker and easy better result. And if while going through the different topics, after listening to the videos and solving the tutorials, assignments, face any problem pertaining to understanding the concepts, doing the sums like the skills of completing the exercises during application or such anything related to this subject and this MOOC course is concerned, you are welcome. You are all that source of information, whether communication details will be provided to you by the respective section, and I encourage all the engineers, whether you are students or you are practicing engineer or you are analyst or you are in a R&D section or you are manager who making day-to-day decisions, all of you please enroll this course and get the benefit out of it. Thank you all.